The adventure of a lifetime begins half a world away from home in the heart of the rugged Utah desert. The 1998 Marlboro adventure teams from Malaysia and the Philippines have already completed their airborne journey, a flight which has taken them to Salt Lake City via Hong Kong and Los Angeles. A 4-hour bus ride is the last leg of the journey. Base camp for the 1998 team is at Professor Valley on the banks of the Colorado River, about 300 kilometers southeast of Salt Lake. Moab, Utah, the nearest town, is 30 kilometers downstream. Tents may provide some measure of protection against rain or nocturnal insects, but thin canvas walls will offer no relief from the desert temperatures. The thermometer routinely reads in excess of 45 degrees Celsius in summer and dips well below freezing in winter. Although fall temperatures are somewhat more moderate, the low desert humidity is a constant concern. Team members are advised they will have to drink up to 8 liters of fluid per day, depending on their level of exertion. Rustic though it may be, the base camp does offer a few touches of technology for comfort. Solar heated showers will be welcome at the end of each rigorous day ahead. In keeping with the wilderness ethic, all aspects of camp are lightweight and portable. At the end of the adventure, the teams will take back nothing but photographs and memories and leave behind nothing but footprints. This land is well worth protecting. The towering stone monuments and canyon walls have been sculpted by nothing more than wind, water, and ice, working patiently but irresistibly over millions of years. During the days to come, the teams will see more than 1 billion years of Earth history laid bare by erosion. The first day at camp is devoted to orientation and skills testing. Motorcycles are a particular item of attention. Although the objective is adventure, team safety is the paramount concern. The speed and power of these dirt bikes are not to be taken lightly. There will be 2 distinct dirt bike trails later. Today, members are assigned one trail or the other based on their skill level.
We're looking for their basic skills, balance, endurance. We can see endurance already after 20 minutes, and we determine after having seen this, we determine what trail they're going to go tomorrow.
The day has been long, a 4-hour drive. The chores of setting up camp and operation have left the team in the mood for a good meal and a good night's sleep. Food and rest are essential. They'll need every drop of energy to enjoy the thrills ahead. The first full day of adventure is only hours away. The quiet of the night is broken at dawn as palpable excitement spreads through the camp. Today is the day the team will challenge the rapids of the mighty Colorado.
It's going to be cold water, big waves, Skull Rapids, a little bit ugly. Little D, they'll probably get trashed in there. Do a little flipping, upside down, hopefully just only according to plan.
The first recorded trip down the river was by one-armed John Wesley Powell and a crew of explorers in the mid-19th century, men who risked their lives aboard small wooden boats without life jackets. Today, the river craft of choice is the inflatable raft. The durable fabric is far more resistant to submerged rocks and vastly more buoyant than wood. Fitted life jackets are mandatory for all river runners and add a final touch of safety. The Colorado is fed by tributaries from 7 western states and is as important to the American West as the Nile is to Egypt or the Yellow and Yangtze are to China. Without the river and its life-giving waters, the great metropolises downstream would have remained mere outposts in the desert. Although the lower portions of the Colorado are impounded in enormous and placid man-made lakes, these upper reaches of the river are as wild and untamed as they've been for millennia. The teams have more on their minds right now than geology, but the rocks exposed on the canyon walls date back 1.7 billion years. In other words, these rocks were already more than 1 billion years old before dinosaurs roamed the earth. The float through the calm stretch has lasted only a few minutes, long enough for the team to become familiar with the oars. Now a roar announces the rapids dead ahead. The teams brace for the first of a dozen battles with the furious white water. Although it helps to have an experienced guide point the way, in the end, the river can be beaten only by the raw muscle of the oarsmen. There's an old saying that the river never loses its battles, but if you show enough courage, it will let you pass. The river is gracious today and rewards both teams with a safe, although exhilarating, passage. The adventure team has successfully navigated 27 kilometers of whitewater and has seen a spectacle of nature reserved only for those few who dare to enter the rapids. The camaraderie among the team members grows stronger as they have proven they can work together. There's also a sense of anticipation for tomorrow's challenge. Today, the force of gravity has been a friend and ally, pulling the Colorado downwards in a series of thrilling rapids. Tomorrow, gravity will be the opponent. This region of southeastern Utah features the greatest concentration of natural sandstone arches on Earth. Corona Arch, standing 165 meters tall, is an erosional remnant of what was once a vast and sandy desert. Like all other arches, it was once a monolithic slab of petrified sand dune. The downward force of its own weight compressed the sandstone most at the outer edges. Because this sort of rock is stronger under compression, these outer edges are more resistant to weathering and erosion than the core. As a result, the core disappears first, producing the distinctive arch shape, and a challenge for the adventure team. Ropes and climbing devices assure a safe ascent to the top. Team members cannot contain their elation at the view and the thrill of what comes next.
Hey, today we're going to hike up with all the guys up this nice ridge over here, get to the top of Corona Arch, and then individually we're going to rappel 45 meters down to the ground, and it's a real spectacular, it's a pretty spectacular event today.
What goes up must come down. The team prepares to free rappel. Careful to observe safety precautions, the team finds it easier to descend and far more fun than would appear at first glance. Mountain biking is next. These muscle-driven vehicles have become immensely popular in the American West. Each bike is crafted of rugged, lightweight alloys and equipped with a sequence of gears to make possible the steep ascents and descents of canyon country. Deep lugs in the tires grip slick rock, and the width of the tires gives the ability to cruise through sand. The teams are making way through Long Canyon. The trail's end is Gemini Bridges. It has not been easy, but the view is worth the effort. From this vantage point, the team gazes across the panorama of Canyonlands.
Boleh Malaysia.
Malaysia, boleh!
Yeah,
Boleh.
boleh.
Close to the bike route are examples of Native American art created hundreds of years before the arrival of Columbus. Called petroglyphs, these mysterious images were inscribed into the rock face by people known only as the Anasazi, the Ancient Ones. They came to this place perhaps 2,000 years ago and vanished 600 to 700 years ago. All that remains of their culture are these enigmatic artworks and various ruins scattered across the Southwest. On day 3 of the adventure tour, the team has mounted a small squadron of four-wheel drive Jeeps for backcountry exploration. The route takes them high into the La Salle Mountains, where a recent snowfall provides what for team members must be a rare opportunity, a snowball fight. There are people who say it is easier to ride than to walk. Those are the people who have yet to experience the tortuous Jeep trails of the American West. Jeep roads are rated according to difficulty. A rating of 1 means an easy trail, while 4+ is the most extreme. The trail this morning is a 3.5. By mid-afternoon, conditions will be worse.
We are very lucky to be a member of the team.
As promised, things have gotten worse. Who would have conceived such a course could possibly be called a trail, let alone a path for motor vehicles? Called Devil's Crack, this segment of the journey requires a spine-tingling turn to avoid a drop-off. Another stretch, known as the Z-turn, is a test of man and machine and balance. All you need to do to pass the test is to arrive on the other side with man and machine intact. Mission accomplished. 60 kilometers across teeth-rattling red rock. The motorized portion of the adventure continues on the next day, although now the team has traded 4 wheels for 2.
Pertama kami menaiki jeep, mendaki bukit di kawasan yang berbatu-batu, dan keadaan ini memerlukan betul-betul skill, kemahiran individu, kesabaran, dan juga menggunakan teknik pengendalian jeep yang betul.
For sheer speed and thrills, it's hard to beat the dirt bike. Rigged with pads and safety helmets, the teams negotiate their way through Onion Creek Canyon. The course has been chosen because it offers rugged terrain and a shallow ford across the creek. As the teams ascend the mountainside, temperatures drop a few degrees for each 100 feet of elevation, a process known as adiabatic cooling. Water vapor condenses more readily in cooler climes, so the mountaintops experience more precipitation and less evaporation than the desert floor below. The result is the forest environment that now surrounds the team.
The Malaysian group's always a very good group to have on the bikes because they're all very well coordinated and they all have really good positive attitudes. They work together really well. So I always enjoy having those guys.
Okay, pada hari kelima, hari ini hari kelima kami melalui aktiviti dirt bike di sekitar pegunungan Lasal Mountain dan Onion Creek. Jalanan kami dianggarkan sejauh lebih kurang 80 km. Kami bermula pada pukul 8 pagi tadi dan habis dan berjaya menamatkan pengembaraan kami lebih kurang pukul 4 petang. Okey, pada hari ini kami melalui jalan yang pelbagai, antaranya batu-batu, jalan yang berbatu, jalan yang berpasir dan kami juga berpeluang pergi ke road yang bersalji. Bagi kami ini adalah satu pengalaman dan pengembaraan yang sangat menarik. Dan kami amat berbangga kerana dapat menyertai Marlboro Adventure Team 98.
Tonight's camp is on the mountainside at an elevation of 2,300 meters, a full kilometer above the base camp on the banks of the Colorado. It will be frosty tonight. A warm meal and campfire are soothing after a long day on the trail.
And then what we do, it starts with just the person and then it expands and there's the more breathing there, which goes only one team can bring you this
The spirit, what the one that's being printed in our shirt.
Yeah,
there's only one thing can bring you this.
Same with you?
Yeah, same.
By late evening, the motorbikes have long since been quiet, and only the murmur of the breeze in the tall trees breaks the absolute silence of the night. Today is the last full day in the wilderness, and it brings with it the chance to saddle up and ride the hay and grain-powered vehicle that tamed the American West, the trusty horse. In keeping with tradition, breakfast is hearty and hot. Before mounting for the 20-kilometer ride back to the base camp, team members make last-minute checks of their saddles and tack. Once they're sure everything is in order, they hit the trail. The view from horseback is high and the pace is perfect to see and appreciate the scenery. This is rugged and diverse country, teeming with plant and animal life, though you have to travel slowly and look closely to see it. At higher elevations, it is home to herds of deer and elk, ponderosa pine and fir trees. As the team descends, they pass into the desert environment, populated by tough plants and animals which have evolved to survive the arid climate and wide swings in temperature. At the desert level, pronghorn antelope and bighorn sheep, superbly adapted to climate and terrain, have found their ecological niche. Although plant life is widely separated, it is nonetheless diverse and plentiful. Pinyon pine, juniper, and sagebrush are the larger plants, while cactus and a host of wildflowers have taken hold where soil conditions are favorable. The long ride gives the team a chance to sharpen their horseback riding skills in preparation for the rodeo later. Horses and riders alike are anxious to reach camp, and the pace quickens. The time has arrived for the adventure team's grand finale. Rodeo is a competition as old as the settlement of the West. For cowboys, each event was a job skill. Precision riding and roping and bronco busting were all part of the daily grind. But like young men everywhere, the cowboys soon turned their chores into games and competed for prizes and glory. No bone-breaking Brahma bulls here, but after a long day in the saddle, there are enough minor bruises and strains to warrant a good night's rest. The last morning is a time for saying farewell to newfound friends. All told, these team members have packed more excitement and adventure into 7 days than most people could imagine. That these highlights have been shared makes them all the more enjoyable. The 1998 adventure now draws to a close with a long drive and plane ride back to the other side of the world. Next year, another group of qualifiers will return as the 1999 Marlboro Adventure Team.
Malaysia,